get it, Harry. You're sounding good. My son playing an original tune sketchbook with his band to open up the first episode of the Hugs Not Drugs podcast. This is truly an exciting day for me, and I hope you enjoy the show. You may ask yourself, what is the show about? Who's it for? How will it help me? I can answer that. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is John Barleycorn. That's right. You get it. It's a pseudonym, not my real name. And it's a nickname because of the 12-step philosophy. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. What is this podcast about? So the Hugs Not Drugs podcast can help motivated people in recovery from mood-altering addictions, also behavioral addictions. They can get additional skills for their personal health by enjoying the inspirational stories, the educational information, and the entertainment provided in this, the Hugs Not Drugs podcast, storytellers. So the storytellers are going to be here for you. At first, I'm going to be the first storyteller. And are you ready for this? So here it comes. The Transformation of Dr. Uggs by John Forlenza-Bailey. Mr. and Mrs. Uggs had 4 children. First came Faith, then came Hope, then came Harry, and then came Charity. Mr. Uggs was a hard-working man. Papa Uggs needed to provide for his family, so he worked and was away from home quite a bit. Mrs. Uggs was left to provide nurturing for her children. This was difficult to do. When Harry was born, it was a proud day for the Uggs parents. They were happy. Papa Uggs and Mama Uggs already had 2 children, so Mama Uggs knew how to care for an infant. Harry seemed to get special treatment. It seemed he did not want for anything. Harry had 2 sisters to watch him and a mama who gave him plenty of time and attention. Harry rested and played. He looked very content. As a toddler, he would just say and need to point and say the word ugh, and he would get anything he wanted. Saying ugh would get him food. Saying ugh would get Harry out of his swing. Ugh would get his diaper changed. There seemed to be an ugh interpretation for anything he wished. Finally, after 7 years of ughing, little Harry learned to master a more sophisticated language, English. Harry did not like being more ordinary. He loved the attention of being special. During this time, Charity was born. This was quite an adjustment for Harry, and he did not do well with it. Harry's world with Faith and Hope was tolerable, but living with Charity, Harry found this difficult. Harry was less the royal one. No more ughing. That ship had sailed. But Harry being Harry, he tried to return to ughing. However, Mama Uggs was having none of that regression. Mama Uggs was the only parent around for child-rearing most of the time, and it was frustrating and difficult to single-parent 4 children. The corporal punishment of slapping was something that Mama Uggs learned at her home growing up with her own brother and sister years before. Mama Uggs grew up in a toxic environment due to her father's alcoholism. Mama Uggs' father drank to excess on a regular basis. His name was Justin a No-No. Justin a No-No would drink and then he would like to fight. Hitting family members was a regular occurrence for Justin a No-No. Mama Uggs learned to hit from her family. In fact, slapping was something that was done regularly by Mama Uggs' ancestors for many years. It was truly a multi-generational cycle of abuse. course, there was physical pain after slapping, but the more hurtful and lasting was the emotional pain. Physical pain would go away for Harry. Emotional pain kept building up and it did not go away. With very little child-rearing help from Papa Uggs, Mama Uggs was worn out. Frustration and anger were the emotions behind little Harry getting hit. Harry started preparing for the hitting. If he walked by his mother and she was unsure of his disposition, which was most of the time, Harry would put his head down and duck. This looked very funny to Mama Uggs, and sometimes she would laugh. Other times she would be insulted by Harry's ducking, and Harry would receive slaps for his preparing for slaps. This was a sad time for Harry. The Uggs family liked to go to church. Harry liked church since age 7 when he started drinking the communion wine. In fact, Harry became a regular altar server from age 7 to age 19, drinking communion wine all the while. It was a good way for Harry to feel good, and Harry went through his sad and disenchanted times by drinking. Made him feel better. He did well in school in spite of his imbibing in the communion wine. The major consequences for Harry when drinking for these 12 years was that he evolved into a dishonest, selfish, willful young man instead of being an honest, open, and willing young man. Harry was a loner and became more and more disenchanted. He was growing up and was expected to learn how to get things in life without saying all those Uggs. Harry thought to himself, all this life experience and I cannot get what I want. Ugh. Harry learned not to trust others, talk to others, identify feelings, ask questions, or think for fear of being disappointed by others. Ugh. Harry was conditioned by these habits and they were the only survival skills that he had learned in the Uggs household. No living skills, just survival skills. Harry thought he found the solution to his problem, all his problems, drinking and drugging through the ages of 7 through 19. Then one day, Harry Uggs met Miss Perception. It was love at first sight. Miss Perception saw Harry and the feeling was mutual. Harry Uggs' nickname became H. Uggs, or Hugs. This name was given to him by Miss Perception. Hugs fell in love with Miss Perception when he was 19 years old. Hugs did not need the communion wine or the church for that matter when he was in love, so he unceremoniously left the church and was less and less involved with family or friends. Miss Perception was the one and only, or better known as the One. Unfortunately for Hugs, Miss Perception did not love Harry after their torrid summer of love. Miss Perception wanted space from Hugs and told him so at the end of their summer romance in no uncertain terms. Hugs could not handle the truth. Hugs was heartbroken. In order to feel good, Hugs resumed drinking alcohol and using lots of different drugs. During this time, friends and family renamed Hugs to Dr. Uggs. That name, Dr. Uggs, was to be his nickname for the next 10 years. It's important to note that when Dr. Uggs started drinking and drugging, those old survival skills made him feel wonderful. Dr. Uggs did not understand that alcohol and drugs has historically been a huge problem in the Uggs family. It was confusing because drinking and drugging made him feel good. But there would be consequences later. Dr. Uggs became blind to the sane and sound world, just like some of his ancestors. Soon he had hardly anything to do with faith, hope, charity, mama, or Papa Uggs. Dr. Uggs got sicker, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Hold on. This is Dr. Uggs. I don't agree with any of this story, but I'll give you a break, Barleycorn, and then we'll get Huggy to finish up the story. Socially, I became an outcast. I had no real friends, and people that knew me were afraid of me. The sicker Dr. Uggs became me, the more frightening I became. The Ugg family survival skills of not talking, not feeling, not trusting seemed impossible to break. Dr. Uggs would tell anybody who would listen that the reason he drank and drugged was to mend a broken heart. He would explain that he fell in love with misperception. He loved her so much and she loved him. He wanted to get his physical, emotional, and spiritual needs met with misperception. The same easy way he got his needs met by saying the word Ugg. But it was not to be. Dr. Uggs did not know that it was impossible for another human being to fulfill someone else's physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. I was delusional. Huggs was lost in the search to fill his needs, and I evolved. This conflict, frustration, void led to a life where me, Dr. Uggs, could not identify what I felt. My thinking had become very muddled and unclear. Dr. Ugg's behavior was not accepted by his family or friends. Even people who drank and drugged will not befriend me. Dr. Ugg's went to a hospital. I went to many hospitals. My diagnosis by the doctors, chronic and incurable ugliness, is evidenced by my inability to live life on life's terms. It was a strange time. How strange was it? It was so strange that if Dr. Uggs did acquire a friendship, then it would end up ugly within 24 hours. It was so strange that all his girlfriends, when he was fortunate to get a date, had the same name. They were all misconceptions. To know Dr. Uggs was not to love Dr. Uggs. Misconceptions would leave the company of Dr. Uggs within a short period of time. It was truly amazing how many misconceptions would be found by Dr. Uggs when he was looking for a relationship. The results were predictable. Dr. Uggs would get ugly. It seems that Dr. Uggs' days were getting worse, never better. Dr. Uggs was on a downward spiral. Consequences of this spiral were no memory of things after a night of drinking and drugging. Dr. Uggs would have negative feelings without drinking. I would get gas in my heart, GAS, guilt, anger, and shame. And the way it was relieved was to get high so I could not sense the gas. No real employment opportunities. A job was always left, eventually due to ugly conditions. Several years of depression. At one point, I laid on the Uggs family couch for 2 years, watching television, eating, sleeping a lot, and taking medication for my diagnosis of ugly. I was pitied, feared, and made fun of. I was lonely. I had my social skills continue to get worse. I would steal, lie, and cheat to drink and drug. Dr. Uggs did not like anyone, especially myself. And I tried to kill myself with drugs and alcohol, but all attempts continued to fail. Situations kept on getting uglier. The vicious cycle ended with a prepared trip to New York City. All right, I'll take over. This is Hugs, not drugs. Dr. Uggs was on his way to become a great actor. Without any money or talent, just lots of delusional thinking, he set off in his bucket of bolts of a car. During his journey, Dr. Uggs was informed by the New Jersey state troopers to get off the toll road due to his lack of funding. It was another delusional day for Dr. Uggs on his journey, and his journey left him arriving naked in a police station early one November Saturday morning in a beach community in New Jersey. It's not the first time Dr. Uggs did something outrageous like this, although the nakedness was a first. He went through delirium tremors while waiting in a jail cell. While this was a new low, being transferred to another residential hospital was a pattern. This was not the first time he had done something crazy, making people afraid of him. It was not the first time he had to stand in line for his mashed potatoes. It was not the first time he was beaten for causing a disturbance. Nor it was the first time he visually and auditory hallucinated, thinking he was the Messiah for mankind. After a series of misadventures and the latest residence change, something different did happen. Dr. Uggs asked for help by calling his father Papa Uggs. He kept repeating in a very defeated way to Papa Uggs, "I'm crazy, and I'm chemically dependent, and I want help." Dr. Uggs was transformed by the simple gesture of asking for help, as if by magic internally in the brain and the heart. Everything was different. The transformation of Dr. Uggs had happened by becoming aware of his drinking and drugging and asking for help. Physical, emotional, and spiritual pain had become the touchstone for the pursuit of transformation. Harry Uggs had his spiritual transformation. Papa Uggs, although he felt helpless about losing Harry and gaining Dr. Uggs, had been praying with Mama Uggs for many years that their son would return to them. Mama and Papa had learned long ago to detach with love due to their own prayer lives. Dr. Uggs appeared to be transformed by asking for help, and the Uggs family prayers had been answered. But seemingly out of nowhere, they heard their son on the phone say, "Maybe I have a problem with drugs and alcohol. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." Papa Uggs went to pick up Harry out of the hospital. He traveled over 200 miles. When Papa Uggs arrived, he found Harry instead of Dr. Uggs. Harry kept repeating how he wanted something different. Harry vowed, "I'll not be Dr. Uggs even if I have to say it out loud every 5 minutes." Papa Uggs saw the same determination he used to see with his infant toddler, that then preschool Harry, when he would say "Ugg." And Papa Uggs knew just what little Harry was saying. In recovery, Harry Uggs received a new nickname, and that's who I am right now. And then he hoped that he would keep this nickname for the rest of his life. My nickname is Hugs Not Drugs. It's taken many years for Dr. Uggs to transform into Hugs Not Drugs. It's taken many years for the transformation. Now, let me read it for you. You're getting tired. It has taken many years for the transformation of Dr. Uggs to Hugs Not Drugs to occur. The transformation only happened based on the physical, emotional, and spiritual conditioning that occurs one day at a time. Instead of avoiding physical, emotional, or spiritual pain, Hugs Not Drugs learn that pain is the touchstone of emotional and spiritual growth. Boy, do I hate that line. Years before the transformation of Hugs Not Drugs, he remembered that he would attend self-help groups telling people that he wanted help. But it was a lie. It was a sad con job. He remembered thinking that he wasn't that bad. However, during the phone call to Papa Uggs and after his spiritual awakening, Hugs Not Drugs Me I concluded I was worse than most of the stories that I had heard, and now I wanted to recover from addiction. I made a vow to God that if I left that hospital, I would be committed to being my new name, Hugs Not Drugs. I learned many lessons, mainly that the only way to heal pain was to go through it, not around it with resentments, remorse, or reservations. And when doing what I learned, that living life on life's terms and taking the spiritual path instead of the psychopath took courage and humility. Yeah, I like that. The psychopath instead of the spiritual path. No, the spiritual path instead of the psychopath, Dr. Uggs. I now understand as Hugs Not Drugs that involvement with others in the good early direction groups, GOD, good early direction groups I attend regularly is better than what used to happen with Dr. Uggs. I now understand that the enemy, Dr. Uggs, still resides in me. I know Hugs Not Drugs. I know the true enemy. I comb his hair in the morning. However, Hugs Not Drugs does not try to kill the enemy. He only loves and educates the enemy with love and forgiveness to the best of his ability on a daily basis. So love and forgiveness is the answer, whatever the question. The transformation of Dr. Uggs is ongoing. There is no end to enlightenment to Hugs Not Drugs as he stays motivated and works to keep his recovery skills healthy. Let's take a break. Let's take a break from the story for a minute, and I'll talk about how we get paid for this. This is being sponsored by the Road to Wellness Workbook by John Forlenza-Bailey. He wrote The Transformation of Dr. Uggs, but he also wrote another book 7 years prior about treatment, and he's offered this workbook for anybody that wants to get well from substance abuse. So the Road to Wellness Workbook, to summarize it, is designed to provide education, emotional support, and inspiration to persons suffering from addiction. It offers step-by-step lessons to people striving to turn their lives around regarding abstinence, relapse prevention, family dynamics, and self-assessment to continue to discover self during day by day. So one day at a time. Recovery is up to you. Mentors help, journals help. You must exchange and surrender destructive behaviors for constructive ways of life, handling the day-to-day stressors or triggers of life. No one deserves to continue to suffer from active addiction. Get better, do the work. So, check it out. If you know somebody that has a substance abuse problem, or you have a substance abuse problem, buy this book, have a mentor, go through the exercises. You'll have 30 days of recovery if you follow the directions. You get better day by day. Hope you check it out. Now back to the story of The Transformation of Dr. Uggs by John Forlenza-Bailey. While attending his recovery meetings, something wonderful happened. Hugs Not Drugs met 3 close friends: Willpower, Dr. Eames, or Dreams, Dreams, and Old Maxims. They became his best friends in the good early direction groups that Hugs Not Drugs attended regularly. Willpower is a famous professional athlete. Many children have made Willpower their hero. When Willpower first met Hugs Not Drugs, he told him, "When I, Willpower, drank and drugged, it nearly destroyed my ability to be the hero to all my fans. I lost. When I booze, I lose. It's that simple." Willpower continued, "It looks like we both need to stay clean and sober. One day at a time, we can have that goal. and do this together. Willpower insisted, you need a goal. Dr. Eames and old Max Sims were in earshot of Willpower's remarks to Hugs Not Drugs. Dr. Eames, or Dreams, echoed Willpower's sentiment by saying, Hugs Not Drugs, there's no doubt in my mind that I Dreams needs, wants, and would love to have you as my friend. When I was a slave to those street drugs and pharmaceuticals and drinking, I looked like the twin to Dr. Uggs. I was lonely and did not have the capacity to be true to myself. But now, after lots of self-discovery, since I don't drink and do drugs, I am true to myself, and I can follow my bliss. Dr. Eames identified with Hugs Not Drugs' inability to trust others, talk out problems, or find solutions realistically. He shared, my brain chemistry was very distorted when I was active. I was dangerous. However, now I know the monster will wake up when I think negatively and don't process feelings appropriately. I have to remember to take my goal, develop a plan, and review it daily so I can make my dreams come true. Old Max Sims heard laughing and joined the conversation. If we don't stand for something, we'll fall for anything. I think Malcolm X said that. We need to hang together or hang separately. I think Benjamin Franklin said that. I cannot do it alone. Together we can, one day at a time, first things first. An easy does it attitude. Well, you know me, I can go on forever, said old Max Sims. The others nodded. They agreed with old Max Sims. What he was saying was true. They identified. Old Max Sims could carry on a conversation all by himself if it were necessary for him to stay sober and clean. Even though the group may tire of his rhetoric, his sayings contain wisdom that usually helps centered Hugs Not Drugs to remain vigilant to the primary strategy of staying in recovery. Recovery people usually agree that old Max Sims has wisdom. So you need a goal, you need a plan, then you get hope because of the wisdom. Old Max Sims concluded, make no military mistake about it. Drugs are not cool for some people. Hugs are better than drugs, amen. I'm not the man I want to be, but thank God I'm not the man I used to be. Hugs Not Drugs, Willpower, Dr. Eames, and old Max Sims traveled the road to wellness together, and their relationship deepened through the years. Hugs Not Drugs knows the enemy can wake up and take over if he forgets who he is, but through the interdependence of these friends, he now helps others to recover to a healthy lifestyle. Lifestyle. What are you drinking? I'm not drinking. I'm just my words got my tongue got in front of my eye teeth, so I didn't know what I was saying. Epilogue. Just shut up and I'll do the rest. Epilogue. This story is ending with an inside joke. They all lived happily ever after. Recovery is like a beautiful swan swimming across the river. However, underneath the water, the swan is paddling like hell with all its strength and agility to keep moving. People in recovery make mistakes, but they understand that mistakes are blessings. Mistakes empower the transformation of recovery to continue. Hugs Not Drugs has learned that although we make mistakes, none of us are mistakes. Remember, love and forgiveness are the answers to any question. The transformation of Dr. Uggs is real. Relax and trust the process. You're worth it. Well, that's the end of the story. I hope you like it. You know, John Forlenza-Bailey put a lot of work into it, I'll tell you that. Yeah, Hugs Not Drugs here. I think, and John Barleycorn, I got the same voice. Uh, this is this is our first show, and I hope you liked it. And if you want to continue listening to it, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. We'll discuss more about the Road to Wellness workbook on the second show. So, in the meantime, stay well. John Forlenza-Bailey and his band are fading us out with Sketchbook. Have a great one,